Bat bombs were an experimental World War II weapon developed by the United States. The bomb consisted of a bomb-shaped casing with over 1,000 compartments, each containing a hibernating Mexican free-tailed bat with a small, timed incendiary bomb attached. Dropped from a bomber at dawn, the casings would deploy a parachute in mid-flight and open to release the bats, which would then disperse and roost in eaves and attics in a 20 to 40 mile radius. The bat bomb was conceived by Lytle S. Adams, 1881 to 1970, a dental surgeon from Irwin, Pennsylvania, who was an acquaintance of First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. The inspiration for Adams' suggestion was a trip he took to Carlsbad Caverns National Park, which is home to many bats. Adams wrote about his idea of incendiary bats in a letter to the White House in January 1942, little more than a month after the attack on Pearl Harbor. In his letter, Adams stated that the bat was the lowest form of animal life and that, until now, reasons for its creation have remained unexplained. He went on to espouse that bats were created by God to await this hour to play their part in the scheme of free human existence, and to frustrate any attempt of those who dare desecrate our way of life. President Roosevelt passed the letter to William J. Donovan, the director of the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, in which he attached a cover letter that read, "This man is not a nut." It sounds like a perfectly wild idea, but it is worth your time looking into. Donovan was enthused by the idea, and instructed Stanley Platt Lovell to use the Research and Development Branch, R&D, to pursue the initial designs and development. Lovell, a close aide of Vannevar Bush, assigned the project to Division 19 of the National Defense Research Committee, NDRC, also known as the Sandman Club, of which OSS R&D had command authority. Harris Chadwell, Lovell's subordinate and the chief of Division 19, recruited the Harvard zoology professor Donald Griffin onto the project. Chadwell and Lovell were both affiliated with Harvard. After Roosevelt gave the project his approval, it was relegated to the authority of the United States Army Air Force. Adams assembled the workers for the project, including the mammalogist Jack Von Blocher, actor Tim Holt, a former gangster, and a former hotel manager, among others. Von Blocher, his assistant, Jack Kuffer, and Osro Wiswell, a scientist, self-described bat lovers, noted that it did not occur to them to question the morality or the ecological consequences of sacrificing a few million bats. For the duration of the project, many members enlisted in the Air Force, where Adams quickly promoted them to acting non-commissioned officers. The bats had to be kept in hibernation while they were shipped. To accomplish this, they were placed in ice cube trays and cooled. They also had to decide what species of bat to use for the bombs. After testing several species, the Mexican free-tailed bat was selected. Tests were used to determine how much napalm an individual bat could carry, determining that a 14G, 0.5 ounces, bat could carry a payload of 15 to 18G, 0.53 to 0.63 ounces. The napalm was stored in small cellulose containers dubbed H2 units. The bomb carrier was a sheet metal tube approximately 1.5 meters, 5 feet in length. The inside of the tube was fitted with 26 circular trays, each of which was 76 centimeters, 30 in diameter. In total, each bomb carrier could hold 1,040 bats. It was planned that the carrier would be deployed from an airplane, descending to an altitude of 1,200 meters, 4,000 feet, before deploying parachutes. The sides of the bomb carrier would then fall away, allowing the bats to disperse. The bats roost under a fuel tank and incinerated the test range. Following this setback, the project was relegated to the Navy in August 1943, which renamed it Project X-ray, and then passed it to the Marine Corps that December. The Marine Corps moved operations to the Marine Corps Air Station at El Centro, California. After several experiments and operational adjustments, the definitive test was carried out on the Japanese Village, a mock-up of a Japanese city built by the Chemical Warfare Service at their Dugway Proving Ground test site in Utah. A reasonable number of destructive fires can be started in spite of the extremely small size of the units. The main advantage of the units would seem to be their placement within the enemy structures without the knowledge of the householder or fire watchers, thus allowing the fire to establish itself before being discovered. The National Defense Research Committee observer stated, "It was concluded that X-ray is an effective weapon." The chief chemist's report stated that, on a weight basis, X-ray was more effective than the standard incendiary bombs in use at the time. Expressed in another way, the regular bombs would give probably 167 to 400 fires per bomb load, where X-ray would give 3,625 to 4,748 fires. The infamous Invasion by Bats project was afterwards referred to by Stanley P. Lovell, Director of Research and Development for Office of Strategic Services, whom General William J. Donovan ordered to review the idea, as Die Fledermaus farce. Lovell had also mentioned bats, during testing, were dropping to the ground like stones.